she entered his room sometime after 3 a.m. and fatally shot him 3 times, killing him instantly.
I mean, they had kids together, right?
Yes, they had kids together. She was taking Zoloft, but had been drinking alcohol and had also used cocaine. Then Brian drove to the home of her friend Ron Douglas and confessed to the killings, but initially Ron Douglas didn't believe it. The pair then drove back to the house in separate cars, and she called another friend and confessed a second time. Upon seeing Hartman's body, Douglas called 911. Police arrived and escorted Douglas and Hartman's 2 children from the premises. By this time, Brian had locked herself in the bedroom. And she kept screaming, "I did it, I did it, I don't know why, but I did it." Then afterwards, she committed suicide by shooting herself.
Yeah, super, super, super fucking sad. The lady definitely had some demons. And it looks like in the story here, it's talking about how she had been abusing the antidepressant Zoloft around this time, I guess, where the marriage was sort of falling apart and everything. So what kind of she was in a...
Yeah, there.
No, I was going to say, who knows what state of mind she was in, but obviously, incredibly tragic way to end such a career. And watching interviews and like watching or reading about comedians from that time that had worked with Phil Hartman, the way they talk about him is that he was just like this full of life, bigger than life sort of a figure. It's just like a complete, a super positive person to be around. Someone that they, just sort of fed off of his positive energy. So, super tragic. Obviously, the other 3 are tragic as well, but Phil Hartman is the one that got me. But
I remember when it happened, especially on top of then Chris Farley passing away. It hit me. That hit me really. Well, first Hartman, then Chris Farley passing away. It hits you really hard and stuff. And like I remember where I was and stuff, and you hear it, and you're just like, you can't believe it. Like anytime someone you admire or watch on television ends up passing away unexpectedly, you're just like, what the hell? So yeah, those are the deaths connected to it. Now,
so how long of a time frame are we talking about here? It started in 1988, and
no, 80. The production. Well, the screenplay was written in 1971. He purchased the rights in 1971. The screenplay, I think, was finished in 1972 or 3 or 4. John Belushi dies in 1982. Then in 1992, Sam Kinison dies, and then John Candy in 94, Chris Farley in 98, and Phil Hartman in 98, and Michael Donahue in 94 also. So you're talking about a turn of 20 some odd years for this film, and they haven't canceled the film
still to this day.
Yes, it's in development hell. They still haven't officially canceled, saying we're never going to make this movie. It's in development hell. The screenplay is supposedly locked away in a vault at United Artists somewhere in Los Angeles, California. United Artists Studios in Los Angeles, California.
Well,
not
literally never. At this point, 30 years later, who would pick that? Who would pick that?
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. There's still people in studios that just like, we don't believe in this curse, or hey, this would be great publicity for this film. Give us, because I think that's what the United Artists is trying to do, because if they cancel it, they lose the rights to it and someone just picks it up. Especially since I don't know if Atuk is in No, I don't think it is, but public domain. I don't think it is, but say if it is, like, just say if they just we're canceling this. All right. Oh, another movie studio or independent movie studio picks it up. It's like, we're going to do this shit. And they ended up doing it. And supposedly we'll see if the curse is real. If more people associated with the film had died, as opposed to not die. That's what my thinking that United Artists is supposedly doing, because they don't want no one else to make the film and either disprove the myth or prove the myth is real, or they don't just want to be United Artists just to want egg on their face. It's like, wow, great.
So, all right. Well, I mean, let's talk about the curse. So what is the curse?
The curse is anyone, it's plain and simple. Anyone who sees this script, the main people who read this script ended up passing away from it. It's been scheduled because no one's really sure why this thing is cursed. Whether, like, there's been speculation about, like, it could be one thing, it could be another thing, it could be the fact that you have, which I have to point out, especially with this thing, that with John Candy, John Belushi, Chris Farley, Sam Kinison, those four actors are Caucasian actors playing an indigenous person.
I see.
You want a Caucasian actor to play an indigenous person. That's one thing I think that wouldn't fly right now. I don't think no one would literally stand for the fact that you have a Caucasian actor playing a person of color.
I mean, yeah, back then, obviously times were different.
Yeah, they more accepted, even though the script they say that he's half Inuit, half white in the script, but still, it's like the book. It's a Inuit hunter, and you're having a white person portray this. That's might be part of the curse right there. Another group of people says it's the curse of adapting a book and straying away from the book to fit your Hollywood blockbuster. But there's been other books that have been adapted and strayed away from the books. From the book, it has been made into the film, and people haven't died from that. So we're not sure what this curse is. It's just all these people who agreed to star in it, who are sort of obese white men who are comedic actors, end up dying. And then you have Michael Donahue and Phil Hartman. I mean, that's the curse.
It's just a series of unfortunate events, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I don't believe this thing is cursed. I believe that this is a series of, okay, with Farley and Belushi and Kinison, and to a certain extent, Kinison and Candy, these were preventable. Belushi, Farley, don't do drugs. Don't do a combination of heroin and morphine.
Yeah, I mean, look, all three of the actors that died. Well, I'm not counting Phil Hartman since he wasn't really.
No, it's Belushi, John Belushi, Chris Farley, John Candy, Sam Kinison.
Yeah, excuse me, you're right. 4. They were all overweight, so they were in a risky.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Sam Kinison was overweight, but he wasn't morbidly obese.
Sure, but like, okay, overweight to a sense that, it might present some health concerns there, right? And Belushi and Farley obviously had problems with alcohol, drug addiction. So, It's not like they were super healthy actors that just fell down one day walking down the street and just, died. Like, they were in a pretty risky pool of, yeah.
Yeah. And John Candy, even with John Candy, they said that his family had a predisposition for heart attacks. It was genetic, and the fact he smoked a pack a day, he did a little cocaine occasionally. He drank almost every day.
They weren't the healthiest people, Nick. That's what.
They weren't the healthiest people in the world. Sam Kinison, he was killed by drunk driving.
Right, unfortunate, obviously, but like at least that's an accident. Yes, an overdose is an accident, but it's not the same as an accident of a heart attack.
It's still the other person teenagers shouldn't have been drinking and shouldn't have been driving.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil Hartman, another thing that if he's connected with this, preventable, get your kids and get the hell out of there. Don't even, I understand, Phil Hartman's trying to fight for his wife because he loves his wife and he loves his family. He wants to stay together. But this woman has been in and out of rehab multiple times. There's only so many times that you can throw up your hands and just go, what the fuck? Michael O'Donoghue, again, could have been, if he had caught it, the minute he started suffering these migraine headaches, is going to the doctor and being persistent with them, something is wrong, please fix it. For the love of God, please fix it. And maybe they would have caught it before he ends up having a stroke and dying. But yeah, the Phil Hartman, grab your kids, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are we thinking here? Curse?
No curse. No, I don't think it's curse. Even Norm Jennison and the producers have said, we don't think this film is cursed. We don't think the script is cursed. I think if you look at the situations in which the four, John Candy, John Belushi, Chris Farley, Sam Kinison, how they lived, and even Michael O'Donoghue and Phil Hartman. You look at the situations, you look at how they lived, and particularly Belushi, Farley, and to a certain extent Candy, John Candy, and you look at their situations and just look, this was with Farley and Belushi, this was going to happen. The way they were living their lives, the way they acted, their lifestyle, they're going to drop dead at any time. Understand, they also tell you, you get to be rich and famous Hollywood actor or musician or a professional athlete. The stress and the weight that they put on you to constantly stay at the top of your game takes a toll on you. And you saw it with Belushi, you saw it with Farley, even to a certain extent Candy. Kinison, it was that young man who decided, I'm going to get drunk and get behind the wheel, who was totally responsible for it. Also Phil Hartman's wife.
For sure. I don't think there's a curse either, because here's the other thing. These guys ran in a fairly small circle of comedians who were sort of all friends in Hollywood around the same time. How many other movies or scripts or potential, TV shows or whatever you think got pitched to all three of these guys? And they, some of them say, what I'm saying is you could probably pick another script that they all said yes to and say that was the curse that caused all their deaths. So,
actually, there is.
There you go.
Well, two of them. The script for Confederacy of Dunces.
Go ahead, tell us about.
The Confederacy of Dunces was a book written by John Kennedy Toole, which was published in 1980, 11 years after Toole's suicide. It's an anagram from John Swift's thoughts on various subjects, moral and diverting. When a true genius appears in the world, you may know him by this sign, that the dunces are all in a confederacy against him. It's pretty much a book about a guy named Ignatius J. Riley. is an educated but slothful 30-year-old man living with his mother in the uptown neighborhood